Good afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you on this first Thursday of May. Today's show is going to be an absolute treat for the senses. We start off with the eyes, where I get to interview possibly one of my new favorite artists and sculptors. His name is Stanislaw Trubinski, and he is absolutely magical. Then we move on to scent, and as we show you what went down at the recent launch of Glade's unique scent gallery in Cape Town, then we also recently met up with designer Gert-Johan Coetzee to get some tips on how to shop cleverly next time you head out to the mall. And then as far as taste goes, well, I hope Danilo isn't going to let me down in the kitchen.
Yes, good afternoon, South Africa, and welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm so excited because back by popular demand, Chiara Turilli is back in our loft today and making something else that's super, super delicious. And I've also heard that later on I'm going to be taught about tort.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't tell us what it is now, but apparently there's a difference between a tort and a tart.
100%.
What are we making?
We're making a chocolate torte with red wine poached pears.
Oof, it sounds so delicious. It sounds exotic, it sounds different, and it sounds like something that you need to make at home. So go get the recipe from our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. There you can also buy this, well, not buy, you can get it for free actually, from the website. Also shopping list, and when you do buy your groceries, go and buy all the ingredients to make this delicious, delicious treat, especially for the weekend. Jeannie's on standby for our first guest.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, our very first guest was born in Kenya and is the son of famous painter Tonio Trubinski and celebrated fashion designer Anna Trubinski. He spent his childhood exploring the exotic wilderness of the Rift Valley and East African coast. And with artists as parents, he had a natural progression into art himself. Today, he lives in Cape Town, where he sculpts some of the most beautifully detailed art pieces for a rapidly growing clientele of local as well as international collectors and art enthusiasts. Joining us in the loft is Stanislaw Trubinski.
Thank you.
Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you very much.
Did I pronounce your name right?
Pretty close, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I always wanted to be a Bond girl, so when I read it, I was like, Stanislaw Trubinski. I thought
yeah, my friends refer to me as Stash normally, but Stanislaw Trubinski is, yeah, it's correct pronunciation.
Now, just reading your biography, your life growing up in Kenya must have been creative and incredibly fascinating with such interesting parents. Take me through your upbringing a little bit.
Well, you know, I grew up in a wildlife sanctuary on the outskirts of Nairobi, and, you know, nature was always very close to me, and you know, having creative parents, a father who was a painter and a mother as a fashion designer, that really,
No worries.
it really kind of
must have been
nurtured
such a beautiful life.
Yeah, and it nurtured my creative thought process from a very young age, so to speak.
Yeah. My mother was an artist, so I know that it really does allow you to kind of just be free. And I suppose maybe it's different for parents who are bankers, but I mean, I suppose your parents maybe inspired you differently to maybe how your friends grew up?
No, absolutely. And, you know, I was very fortunate because as a child, I always had a creative streak. And I think that having both parents and, you know, my grandfather as well was an architect. So it wasn't something that was shunned upon to be creative. And throughout my high school years, it was something that was very much, I was told to express it more and to really focus on it, and it was valued.
Were you really good when you were in high school?
Well, I wouldn't like to, I mean... I mean,
what were you good at? Could you draw or was sculptor kind of...
I was a bit of a jack of all trades, because in high school you really needed to be kind of, you know, they asked me to do a lot of things, but it was really when I left school that I realized that sculpture was the practice that I wanted to pursue.
And what kind of animals did you have growing up? All of them.
Well, you know, I had vervet monkeys as a kid. We raised orphan animals that we found, you know, in the wilderness. I also had a menagerie of up to 70 different species of snake. So I was an avid herpetologist up until the age of about 18 when I had to leave Kenya.
Wow. Do you still keep any animals at your home in Cape Town?
No, I'm too busy sculpting.
Okay. So when you left school, you had one of those aha moments and you were like, I'm really good at this. This is something that I want to pursue as a career. I want to know about that moment where you actually had that courage of your own conviction to back yourself as an artist.
Well, I think that came from the point where, you know, I asked, when I left school, I had a huge body of work that I had done over the last 2 years of schooling. And I asked the school whether it was all right if I could sell it. And I kind of threw myself my own solo exhibition at a restaurant, popular restaurant in Nairobi. And it was a huge success. And that's how I paid for my gap year. So in that way, that's kind of when I knew that I had what it took, so to speak. I just needed to be refined. you
Yeah,
know.
because people were buying your art.
Yeah.
Do you still know the people that bought your early pieces?
Well, a lot of them are like family, friends, and you know, Nairobi is quite a close, small community, so
Yeah.
to speak. So yes, I do know them. Yes, and I see them on a regular basis.
Do you think one day when you're a much older man, you'd want to go back and buy some of your very first pieces that you've done?
I suppose it's strange. I don't really have a connection to the pieces that I do. Each new
that's
piece that I do
interesting.
kind of kicks the last one out of the nest, you know.
So you don't get quite like sentimental over anything?
I think it's you've got to be, especially as an artist, because in a way you're giving your art away as a gift to the world. I mean, that's what we do
Yeah.
as artists. We create visually stimulating things, and if you know, holding on to them too much, I think that's kind of counterproductive, you know.
Yeah. What materials do you work with?
Mainly, I mean, I sculpt in wax, like a wax-based plasticine that we make ourselves, and wax as well. So it's a mixture of, they're not conventional clay, because that tends to dry out over time. So I use this wax-based clay, and the final product is bronze.
Okay. I was looking at your work, and I mean, it's so incredible. And I love that you said a lot of your inspiration comes from your awareness of everyday man's disconnect to Mother Nature. So, I mean, do you think that comes from your connection to Kenya, I suppose,
Well,
and the upbringing that you had?
Yeah, I think that what really triggered it was the fact that I, you know, having grown up in an environment like that with, you know, and seeing the changes as I grew up, just in the 18 years that I was in Nairobi, you know, things changed a lot. And removing me from that environment and placing me in an environment which kind of made me think about what are the things that I valued in my life.
Yeah.
And one of them was the natural world.
Wow.
So naturally I started, you know, I looked at it for inspiration, and, you know, that's how I ended up where I am today.
This is like absolutely breathtaking. Is this one of your pieces from the Coral collection?
Yes, it is. The idea behind that is how, you know, the human condition and what it means to be human, so to speak, these days, has become so dissociated from the natural world, and like
Yeah.
our connection to it. You know, we're all on our iPads and on like a digital world, that nobody really tends to spend a lot of time outdoors or even see the value in it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think the danger in that is that when we become indifferent from it, that's when we're going to lose a lot. And I think my art is, in a way, it's a way of kind of personifying nature, so to speak.
Yeah. How do you even start on a piece like this? I mean, how do you first sketch of what you want it to look like, or are you just literally with a piece of black plasticine and mold something?
Well, most artists will start with a sketch, but I think with me, because they're so organic and so random,
Yeah.
I'll have an idea of the type of pose that I want, and then on top of that goes a whole bunch of, you know, it kind of creates itself as it goes along. It's quite a frustrating process, because sometimes I'll start on something and get 3/4 of the way through and realize that it's a flop and it has to go in the bin. Which
But
is
is
always,
a flop to you would be like magnificent to somebody else? Are you quite hard on yourself like that?
Yeah, I think you have to be as an artist.
Yeah.
You know, you'll in a way, that's why, like, you have your private studio, so that you can have those moments and be like, okay, this is not really ready to go out into the world. And I think that's what's beautiful about it. You know, you're the kind of creator, and you decide what's good and what's not good.
What fascinates me with artists, often when I interview musicians as well, I ask, when you listen to the song, do you know it's going to be a hit? Like, are you proud of yourself? So when you look at some of your pieces, do you think, yeah, that's really good, I'm proud of myself?
Usually the ones that I cast in bronze are the ones that I have that, you know,
Yeah.
feeling about in the beginning. But it is I can tell from the word go whether it's going to be a hit or not.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's subjective, I suppose.
It's amazing. Where can people see your work? Do you have any exhibitions coming up?
I've actually got a show opening this evening in Cape Town, which is the Anne Royce Gallery. It's a group show. And then I've got a number of galleries, one in Franschhoek, Object Design Art, and on my website as well.
Excellent. Well, best wishes. You are an absolutely, absolutely rare talent.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous. I love your work.
Thank you very much.
After the break, we're showing you how to make a decadent chocolate pudding cake, perfect for Mother's Day. And, of course, we go to check out a very unique and very trendy shopping complex in Joburg. Shopping! We'll be right back.
Express yourself. Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. It's so cool to be with you on this Thursday afternoon. Today we're making something so delicious in the kitchen. It is decadent, it is absolutely amazing, and it's going to be perfect for your Mother's Day cake if you guys are making it. It's not a cake, however. It's called a thought.
Tort.
Tort.
Close there.
Almost. Kind of got it. What's the difference between a tort and a tart?
Okay, so a tort is something that's derived from a cake without flour. So in Italy, especially it's torta caprese.
See.
It just has almond meal or something that doesn't have flour in it.
Oh, amazing. So for those who are wheat intolerant, perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we get started with this dish, Kiara?
Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to do the pears. So the pears in poached in wine.
Ah, I see. So how
Yes.
do you poach pears? Because I've poached a few things on the show before, and I think we've actually poached pears. Is that just putting them in water?
Yes. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with this sugar, very important. It's the muscovado sugar. So it gives like a nice rich flavor to it.
Ah, yes.
And it's got like quite a gentle sweetness.
Nice caramelly flavor too.
Exactly. So we
Okay.
put this into the pot, and then we put in wine, cinnamon stick, lemon rind, and a little bit of water.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is the first 5 minutes, you're going to make sure that the water like disappears a bit, and that the sugar dissolves.
Okay.
Then you're going to peel your pears.
Cool. And you can just use a normal vegetable peeler to peel those.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
From the top to the bottom, because it's also about presentation. You want it to look beautiful for your mom.
Okay.
And then I use a pear corer inside.
that?
So it's like, you know the melon baller?
Oh yes, it's
So
little
it's-
like scoops.
Yes. So I
Okay.
just scoop it out so that it looks really pretty.
Oh, lovely. They actually do look amazing. So the idea, obviously, red wine. I've heard lots of people talk about it. When you're putting red wine in your food, it's not the leftover wine that you haven't drunk for the last 10 years. If you want a really good flavor with your pears, make sure you use a nice quality wine. The rest of it, you can drink. Cool. What's next?
Okay, so you let it simmer on a low heat for 30 minutes. You don't want your pears to be soft and mushy.
Yes.
You want them to still have a shape like this.
Okay. And a nice little tip maybe from my side would be to say buy slightly firmer pears than buy the sort of really soft, mushy
Yes,
ones. Otherwise it's going to
definitely.
dissolve. Okay.
So now we're going to start with our tort.
Yay!
Okay, so what we've done here is we've melted butter and we've put in good quality dark chocolate.
Okay.
So you're just going to mix that up and make sure that it comes, I mean, this is exactly like ganache.
Yeah, so it's the right kind of texture. So it's thin enough for you guys to use, and it's also thick enough that it's not going to just run everywhere when it does get poured over.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can put the eggs into our mixer for us.
5 eggs with the yolks and the whites.
Yes.
There we go.
And you can just pass me the sugar, please.
The sugar. Are you using caster snow, I see?
Yes.
Okay, and obviously caster snow because it dissolves nice and easily, and it's like obviously every baking ingredient has something like caster snow in it.
Yes,
So.
definitely.
Cool.
Thank you. So we're just going to put this on, and we're just going to mix it on high.
Okay, and that's called just, you call
You're just creaming it.
Creaming.
Creaming so light and fluffy.
I'm really taking notes because I've cooked so many things on the show and I really sometimes have to really take notes about the things. So like creaming, poaching, torting, making a tort instead of a tart.
Okay,
Cool.
so you're going to let that go for about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to put it down a little bit so things don't fly everywhere.
Okay.
And you're going to pour in your ganache into here,
Ooh,
okay?
yum. Also, it's kind of just to incorporate all of that in there slowly but surely.
Yes.
Yummy.
Okay, so once you've done that...
And
just
this is
make
obviously
sure-
going to form the base of the tort. This is going to be the actual cakey stuff.
Yes, the good stuff.
Yeah.
The best thing
Yummy.
about this cake is that it's almost like a molten center with like almost like a crunchy top.
Oh, yummy. So it's like a massive brownie, basically.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Okay, now what you can do is you can put the nuts in.
Cool. And you're using which kind of nut?
We're using pecans.
Can you use any nut?
Yes, any nuts that you fancy. I like to toast them a bit before. It makes the flavor much better.
Nice.
And then you can put the cocoa in first.
Oh, cocoa and chocolate?
Of course, the more chocolate, the better. You want to give your mom something exciting, right?
Well, I thought the dark chocolate would have like, it's almost 70% cocoa anyway. Why would you add more cocoa? What's
Do you know what the thing is? There's no flour in this, so we need something to bind it a little bit, and
to
that's what
thicken
the
it.
cocoa does, yes.
So it absorbs some of the moisture, it adds some more cocoa flavor to the thing, so it's really going to be death by chocolate.
100%.
Good. But the healthy kind of chocolate, because there's not as much milk chocolate in there.
Exactly.
So you're not going to kill your mom before
Yeah,
after
we don't
Mother's
want
Day.
that.
It's like, that would be a bad gift to give a mom for Mother's Day.
Exactly. Okay, that's perfectly incorporated.
Yummy. Cool. Can I clip this out for you?
Yes, thank you.
I just want this to drip everywhere. Probably will, but that's okay. We can make
Part
a
and
mess.
parcel.
Part
Yes.
and parcel of
Look, it
cooking
looks
delicious
beautiful.
food. So look at that. There you got your nuts that are in there. It's a perfect kind of texture. Just to show you what it should look like in terms of a texture. It's got that kind of like pory texture with it. So you can almost dip something in it and eat it with your fingers. Right?
Yes, it's that delicious.
So what we're going to do later on is just show everyone how to put that in the pan, get
Yes.
into the oven and make all that stuff start working for you. Amazing. So if you want to get this recipe and the shopping list, it's on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. There you can download all of the recipes we make right here on Afternoon Express. And these are perfect, absolutely perfect for your Mother's Day gift, especially if you want to make your mom something so delicious that's handmade. It always goes a really long way. Now imagine a shopping centre built entirely out of shipping containers. Well, 27 Boxes is a complex in Melville that has done exactly that. You may have already enjoyed this unique retail experience, but if you haven't had the chance, here's a look at the first of a kind in South Africa.
Melville is a very bohemian, artistic village in Johannesburg. I just knew that this is the place where we would develop a container centre. Shipping containers is a very useful module. They come in various sizes. They come in a 12-metre container, which is 28 square metres, and then 6 metres, that is 14 square metres. In traditional shopping centres, you've got quite big spaces, and it becomes too expensive for the small entrepreneur. So in 27 Boxes, you get as a standard, the 28 and 14 square metre box. Now, these units are really affordable for most entrepreneurs that has got a very unique and successful business.
Since we've launched in April 2015, its success has been great. The feedback from the tenants is very positive. The media exposure that we've had at the centre has been great, and everybody has a positive vibe about the centre.
The design of the centre and of the place of 27 Box, I guess it works with my brand in that we do recycled, upcycled products. So yeah, so when people come here, it's almost like they understand, you know, our products, and they kind of understand the thesis, I guess, of the whole place, you know, of the whole container mall, the 27 Boxes. The center is actually made from recycled and upcycled, you know, containers. So it kind of seams and kind of works together.
The name of my store is called Curry in a Box, and the place is called 27 Boxes. So my curry is made in a box. So I think that's how it fits in. And the center is also like a vibey, trendy place, and I think that this space fits me well.
The whole idea was to make a shopping centre with very open spaces where people can move around, see what's available in the shopping centre from an immediate point of entering the centre. And because of this courtyard that you see here where we are standing, people moving on the top level can immediately see what's happening in the bottom level. So it was just very important that you don't have closed floors.
Firstly, we're from the neighbourhood, and there's so much potential in Melville. It's a melting pot of all kinds of cultures. There's tourists. So this is a great platform to show off what South African vibe we've got going, and the fact that it's also not such a serious centre shopping mall. It's, you know,
More of a park.
Yes.
You know,
and we being not so brandy or anti-brand, I think it works with our concepts. You know.
Yeah, this is our flagship store, and we're pretty proud of it, and we're hoping to roll out
Expand a bit.
stores around the country, and that's our next move.
27 Boxes suits our needs for one main reason. It is easily accessible to a bicycle. We had a need for a person to ride up to our store with a bicycle, feel very relaxed in doing so. We're also able to feature races from our front door with that ability. And also the other aspect is having a more of a community feel rather than a sterile feel of a shopping centre. Very relaxed, good community feel.
Worldwide, there's an explosion of container developments. They range from where they started, Box Park in London. Then there was a major development after the earthquake in Christchurch. So to bring in something unique like this is really amazing, and I personally would love to see 3 or 4 of these developments in a place like Soweto, Khayelitsha, and it's really a place where the small entrepreneur can live himself out, have a permanent shop and an affordable shop.
So that simply sounds like a great initiative, doesn't it? Now, recently, Bonnie checked out what went down at the Glade Scent Gallery activation in Cape Town, where the public experienced the art of different scents. We'll be showing that to you soon on Afternoon Express, but if you live in Johannesburg, don't feel left out, as this weekend, from Friday the 6th of May, that's tomorrow, to Sunday the 9th of May at 1 Fox Street, you too can experience the Glade Scent Gallery for yourself. Don't forget that you still have a chance to enter the Glade Grand Prize competition to stand a chance of winning the grand prize consisting of, listen to this, a bed makeover and a consultation from Debbie Hall, a paragliding session and a Glade gift hamper, all to the value of 21,800 Rand. Simply SMS the keyword Glade, your name and city to 33728. Those SMSs and the T's and C's costs are all on afternoonexpress.co.za. You certainly don't want to miss out on this prize. After the break, however, fashion designer Gert-Johan Coetzee shows us how to shop cleverly when you next hit the mall. Don't go anywhere. A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. So Mother's Day is coming this weekend, and particularly on Sunday. And I remember very clearly that I'd always forget about Mother's Day. And so I thought, what can I do as a last-minute resort? And I always used to write down these little cards like, free hugs for you, Mom. And she'd be like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, look how nice you wrote me a card. But it was actually because I forgot and there was anything I could do in time. So now we found something else that we can do that's delicious, that you can also do with your very own hands. And it is absolutely tasty, and it's delivered by Chiara Turilli. So now her expertise is in making delicious treats. And today we're making something that I've never made before, a tort.
Yes.
Cool. So earlier on we kind of made the tort batter. I don't know what you're calling
Exactly,
it.
perfect.
Cool. And now we're going to have to just show them how to put that into the pan and everything else, and then do the final touches.
Exactly.
Cool. So let's do it.
Okay, so here we've got our batter. You can see there that it's slightly thickened a little
Oh,
bit.
nice. So have you let this sit for a bit?
Yes, you can do
Okay.
that because obviously what happens is the batter cools down a bit.
And also I think then the cocoa will start to absorb a little bit more.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So we're just
But before
gonna.
you do that, sorry, what have you done to this pan?
That's what I wanted to tell you. So
I don't
you
think
can
I can
just
see
use.
this.
You can just take some butter, put it around the pan, and instead of putting flour, you put cocoa.
I see. And that is also non-stick.
Exactly.
Taking notes, I like this. By the way, we had somebody, one of our really cool viewers, a beautiful viewer of ours, has invited her grandmother to watch the show. So, Ellen, if you're watching the show right now, I know you are, you're looking to create some amazing recipes, I can tell you to go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. There's so many beautiful recipes there, and I hope you're going to be making this cake at some point in your life and taking us a photo and obviously sending it to us on our social media sites. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks for that tweet that came through. Yummy. It almost looks like I just want to eat it like that. It's
I
like a
know.
chocolate mousse with nuts in it. Yummy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have taken this mixture and put it over ice cream.
Oh, really?
It's amazing.
That's why we like you. You test out your own recipes, which is
course.
awesome. Okay. I noticed that we're cooking, we did something interesting today, which was called poaching pears, right? Which
Yes.
we've done before, but you've poached it in red wine today.
Exactly.
What happens, like, for instance, if people particularly don't like pears and want to replace the fruit? Can they?
Of course they can.
Oh, okay.
You can use anything. You can use peaches. You can use grapes. You can use any fruit that you like.
Okay, so
I think
soft
that's the
fruits.
best thing about this recipe is that you can make it your own. And the other thing is if you don't want to use wine, you can use tea. You
Poach
could-
it in tea.
Yes.
That we've done before. I've poached in tea before. That was also a new first thing for me. Okay, so what is there left to do with this dish besides eat it?
Well, now we're going to put the pears in. I like to keep them whole because then when you're cutting it and you're serving it, you have these beautiful whole pears in the cooked tart.
I see.
And then what you do is you just make sure that everyone gets a piece because
Okay.
that's my worst.
So is this what you've halved it, but you prefer to do it with whole pears?
No, I'm saying exactly like that.
Oh, I see. So
So
halved.
you don't cut them. Some recipes they like to cut them in smaller pieces.
Nah.
No.
Then you're almost like making, what is that other Italian cake called that's also really thin? My auntie likes to make them too. It's a little round disc as well that they keep them nice and flat. Also got no flour or anything, and it's just made with honey and...
Torta di mille.
No, what are you saying to me? It's not torta di mille, no.
That's the honey cake. I thought that's what you're talking
Oh gosh,
about.
I'll think about it and we'll share that later on because it reminds me, obviously got no chocolate in it, but it's also thin with little cut up pieces of fruit, which is yummy.
That sounds
Almonds.
amazing.
Anyway, we'll forget about it for now. Yummy. So obviously that when you've poached the pears, the alcohol of the red wine is obviously evaporated. You just got that
Yes.
really nice flavour. Can I ask you something really tough? Would you suggest a particular wine, like a Merlot or does it really not matter?
To be honest, I like Pinotage
Okay.
because it's got a very full flavor.
Okay.
But use, as I said, make it your own. Use what you want.
Okay.
So you can use a Merlot if you want to.
And you're cooking with fruit, and the Pinotage has got very fruity tones to it, so
Exactly.
that is a good choice.
So you can see
Yummy.
I'm just making a circular motion like that. And that juice that's flowing along there, amazing. Even
Do it.
better.
Want more, okay,
Yes.
as much as you can get.
Yes.
Yummy! This looks so delicious. And then what happens once these pears are in here? Do we have to decorate it, cook it? What do we still have to do?
No, what we're going to do, it's very simple. You put it inside an oven, 160,
Okay.
30 minutes. good to go.
Very, very simple. So this
Yes.
is one of those great recipes that you can create for yourself, especially if you're one of those people who leaves Mother's Day to the last second. These dishes are absolutely amazing. It is decadent, it's delicious, and you can find the recipe on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za.
After the break, it's time to share another moment with Five Roses. Five Roses is South Africa's favorite tea, expertly blended to ensure that it remains the highest quality consistently. It is this ethos of commitment to excellence that Five Roses puts into making the perfect cup of tea, which delivers its uniquely superior and distinctive taste that you've come to love and trust. To this end, Five Roses salutes South African women who too are committed to excellence in whatever they've chosen to do. So today we'll be chatting with Rapelang Rabana, a remarkable young woman who's improving learning and skills development in Africa by turning people's compulsion to check their phones into an opportunity to learn. She's joining us for a cup of Five Roses Smooth Ceylon Blend. Five Roses is pedantic about the selection of teas that go into their blend, and it is the Ceylon tea in this blend that gives Five Roses its rich golden color and smooth superior taste, unlike many other teas. So don't go away, because we'll be right back after the break with Rapelang and Five Roses right here in the loft.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. Our next guest has been listed by Forbes Africa as one of Africa's best young entrepreneurs and one of 20 young power women in Africa. She's made the Oprah magazine O Power list, is referred to by CNN as a Marissa Mayers of Africa, serves as an ambassador for the UN World Summit Awards, and is considered to be a global shaper by the World Economic Forum. She's an innovative thinker, a global entrepreneur, and an exceptional woman. Rapelang Rabana, welcome to the loft.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh,
Pleasure
what
to be here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. What a prolific career you've had so far.
It's been an extraordinary journey.
And you're only 32.
It's a lot, actually, 32.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's
To
been a
what
good
do
10
you-
years since I graduated, so yeah, it feels like a long time now.
That's incredible. To what do you attribute this journey to and the success of it to?
I've always felt that I made really strong decisions based on my own depth of self-understanding and degree of understanding of what would make me tick, what I could dedicate my time to, those kind of personal mastery questions. And I think once you've understood those aspects of yourself, you can take bets and you can make big decisions. But without that self-understanding, you won't have the foundation to make bold decisions. And I think I credit most of my journey to that.
And what do you attribute that understanding of how important it is to know yourself?
I don't think anyone's ever told me, because it's only really now in the last 3 or 4 years that I've come out publicly to acknowledge it. I've always felt it in the back of my head, but throughout high school or university, it's not like you even do courses on that kind of stuff. It's not like you have those conversations on the dinner table. You're just supposed to take stimulation from things outside of you, but not looking at your own internal stimulus and direction. So I think I credit it to just having the courage to listen to my own curiosities and to trust that my view and how I see the world is valid and legitimate, and it's reason enough to go with it. And realizing that everyone has a point of view that they should also pursue, and it's trusting that you as an individual person have your own contribution to make, but you can only make it if you value your perspective, if you value your individual input.
Wow, that's so accurate. And what sparked your interest in the world of technology, computers? I mean, stereotypically, I wouldn't think that a beautiful young woman would want to be a techie, right?
It was really quite an accident, you know, when I think about it, because I got to the end of matric and I didn't want to study yet because I wanted to take a gap year and relax and figure out what I wanted to do. But, you know, coming from a black family, those things are just not done. You've got to go to university. So my older brother was at UCT at the time, and I told him, look, Mom and Dad said I have to study, come up with some ideas. I'm not doing accounting, I'm not doing actuarial science, come up with something else. And he came up with this degree of a business science, computer science degree, and I was like, sounds reasonable. And until really my first day, I didn't understand that there would be code and programming. And when I saw it on the wall, it was quite a scary moment. And I spent a good year trying to shift around and change because I realized it was going to be quite a tough degree. But, you know, in the end, I made a complete U-turn and decided to stick with computer science because after looking at all the other disciplines in accounting or marketing or organizational psychology and all those things, I thought that you spent a lot of time reviewing, analyzing, evaluating, auditing all the stuff that other people have thought and done. But with computer science, you could actually come up with your own ideas and create from scratch. And I thought, this is actually a powerful process that isn't available anywhere else of the subjects. Maybe I should stick with it and see what I can do with it.
And one of the groundbreaking things you've done is you've found a way of improving skills development in Africa using mobile phones. How does that actually practically work?
I've always believed that mobile and internet technologies can be used to really solve big problems on an exponential scale, any of the socioeconomic challenges that we have. And I felt that we weren't seeing enough of that progress in terms of learning and skills development. We need to be able to upskill people faster than we've already done. And most of the things that were happening in the edtech space were really just about digitizing what happened offline and putting it online. So taking the textbook and putting it online, shooting a video of the lecture and putting it online. And it wasn't necessarily making it more efficient. So the process and path of learning wasn't necessarily quicker. You weren't building skills faster. You were just making content more accessible. I thought that we really need to look at how the learning efficiencies can be improved. Are you able to master knowledge faster? Are you able to get to competency as an employee in a company faster? So we basically provide a lot of digital tools that support that process on mobile, desktop, phones and things. We'll use a number of different approaches. One of those is a concept around personalized learning using what I call micro bite-sized chunks of information. And personalized learning is about tracking how you're doing and the areas you struggle with so that you reinforce those areas that you're struggling with more than the ones you know. Because we all know, like, when we learn, a lot of the time you just want to do the stuff that you're already good at, so you don't get dramatically better quickly. But if you've got this app that can manage that process for you, you can get to a point where you can demonstrate competency a lot quicker by managing that learning path for you. So, I mean, that's one example of the things we'll do. I mean, others will be more around providing real-time virtual experts that can whisper in your ear as you do work in a company. So the same way you'd use a GPS to be able to get yourself around any city or Taipei, even if you've never been there before, you can almost behave as if you're an expert as you get around, because the GPS gives you that contextual information about the city. So now we can use those kind of technologies to capture the complexities of a company, so that someone who's maybe a call center agent or a bank teller or a compliance officer would be able to listen to that guide or read what that guide is prompting it, so that it can perform at best practice levels without having years and years of experience.
That's absolutely revolutionary. So how difficult was it getting the project off the ground?
I think the toughest part, which I think is the toughest part of any new business, is to find the product market fit. So you've got all these great ideas, but you've got to find companies or organizations that are ready to pay for it so that you can start to generate a sustainable business. And it can take a really, really long time. So, I mean, I started this company just over 2 years ago, and only really now do I feel like I figured out the value proposition. I figured out what would be compelling for a company X or a company Y. But I wouldn't have learned that unless I was in the process and in the journey, and to trust that long process. And it's a long, multi-year process, and I'll still be learning in a year's time, in 2 years' time.
Wow. I mean, you're a shining example of how entrepreneurship is effective and how well it can work and how it can change our world. But what advice do you have to young entrepreneurs watching right now, even myself?
To young entrepreneurs out there, I would tell them, think a few times if you're really, really ready for this journey, because it's a tough, long road. And unless you're really wanting to invest 5-7 years of your life towards a cause, you might not be 100% ready to go down this, because the biggest factor is going to be the perseverance and the commitment. And after that, I would say the most important piece of advice thereafter is to really pick something that you genuinely care about, because if you pick something that you've been thinking about for years and years without even knowing it, you already have an implicit intuition about the industry. And those are the things that are true sources of competitive advantage. So, I mean, as an example, I know a lady who grew up in a mining town where there were lots of injuries of miners from all the mining accidents and things. So because she grew up in this whole context, she went about developing a business that provides safety clothing for those miners when they go underground. And it was just because she had enough prior understanding. It was almost implicit for her how to make it work. So it's things that are immediately around you. Your point of view, which is the sum total of your life experiences and skills, is what will give you true advantage. So don't take things out there because they look cool and everyone else is doing it. It's it's sticking closer to you and your individuality that will give you
Right.
something that's
Right.
going to be valuable in the
Yeah.
longer term.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Where to now from here? I mean, you've
Where to
already
now?
done so much. How much more do you
I'm
want to
just
do?
trying to hustle and
You
make a
for
business
president.
work.
I say Rapelang for president, basically.
No, not quite, not quite. I really just want to prove to myself that I can build a few strong, compelling businesses. Then I would really love to go on to the venture
Few, not
capital
much,
of
just a
funding. Which is going to be a long road still. And I think later on, then I really want to go to the other side and fund and mentor other entrepreneurs. Once I have that body of experience that I feel, has given me enough understanding.
Right.
So I would definitely love to get to the other side as well in
Yeah,
the next 10
yeah.
years. Yeah.
Well, I have no doubt that you will. And thank you so much for inspiring us.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
There's no doubt that Rapelang Rabana is indeed committed to excellence in everything she does. Much like Five Roses is committed to bringing you a range of high quality, superior tasting and refreshing teas to make every tea time an occasion to be shared and enjoyed. To win a fabulous Five Roses gift pack containing an assortment of Five Roses teas, including Five Roses Smooth Salon Blend, simply SMS the keyword Five Roses, your name and city to 33728. SMSs are charged at R1.50 and T's and C's apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Join us again this time next week when we'll be chatting to another exceptional South African woman. And until then, remember that nobody makes better tea than you and Five Roses.
Oh man, this is one of my favorite things about Afternoon Express. We give away so many amazing prizes, but there's one big prize coming your way. Make sure you catch the 3rd season of Winner Home right here on Afternoon Express. Follow our 3 young designers every weekday from the 16th of May as they turn 3 empty apartments into dream homes with expert color advice from Plascon to create on-trend living spaces and luxurious Caesarstone surfaces, all at the award-winning Valdevie Estate, conveniently located in the Cape Winelands. Enter the grand prize competition on privateproperty.co.za and you, the viewer, stand a chance to win one of the completed apartments. Winner Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in proud association with Nedbank. It's a prize you definitely don't want to miss out on. I think I've heard via the grapevine that this prize is almost valued at over 3 million rand. Don't tell anyone I told you that.
I've got an idea. I actually think we must make a little genie Portuguese-Italian sandwich.
I always like a bit of pork in my sandwich, not pork in my sandwich, so pork, I don't know.
Oh my God, amazing.
This looks ridiculously amazing.
Thank you.
It's a poached pear tort with chocolate and chocolate.
I love the fact that there's no flour in it.
Me
That is
too.
a huge win.
That's
Okay,
the
is this
biggest
how
thing.
you serve it?
Okay, so what we're going to do, finishing touches, of course. Extra bit of chocolate, a little bit of cocoa.
Yummy.
So it's going to take
Chocolate
that.
all day.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
what a great Thursday.
It's a decadent Thursday.
Yeah.
And I must
Okay.
say, I will comment slightly
And then
very
what?
soon on that slice that you've cut over there.
I know.
That's like a typical Italian slice of cake.
Exactly. I mean, there's no small pieces when it comes to this cake. As
Yeah.
you said, there's no
Sheesh.
flour, so you got to go slightly
know.
bigger.
Jeannie always
Definitely.
disses me for saying I don't know how to take TV bites of food. So I'm glad that you're serving up an official, legit portion of this cake.
I had
Oh.
13 years of training, so don't worry, you're fine. You've got some time.
That looks
Okay, then what do we
amazing.
do with that?
Okay, so that's the final touch. This is mascarpone cream. So we've just whipped up cream, put some mascarpone in there.
Amazing.
Just to make it a little bit more
Ooh, it's perfect for Mother's
lashes.
Day.
We're just going
Oh,
to
my
put
goodness
that
gracious. Well, tomorrow is Mother's Day, and I have to say, Mommy and Nana
Tomorrow?
and Ava... Isn't tomorrow Mother's
Tomorrow's
Day?
like Friday, isn't Mother's Day on Sunday?
Oh.
Awkward.
So I knew it. See you on Sunday. I knew that all the time.
Catch Afternoon Express tomorrow and make sure that you guys tune in early because we have the very special guest joining us in the loft. He's the man who I studied throughout my entire career in high school. John Carney is here live in our loft. It should be absolutely fascinating. And make sure, obviously, during the first 15 minutes of the show as well, we're chatting to him about his cameo in the new Marvel Captain America. It's called Civil War. It's an absolutely incredible film, so make sure you tune in for that later on.
Can't wait. We'll see you tomorrow because it's not Mother's Day. See you. Bye. Have a wonderful evening. Good night and happy eating. Mwah. Ciao. And now I'm going to eat the cake.
Nada. Feel Good production.
Hi.
YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and, of course, our fabulous episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share this video. We do love it when you express yourself.